Dangote Petroleum Refinery has temporarily halted the sale of petroleum products in naira, citing a mismatch between sales proceeds and crude oil purchase obligations, which are denominated in US dollars. The refinery's management stated that sales in naira have exceeded the value of naira-denominated crude received, necessitating the adjustment. NNPC is currently in discussions to potentially renew the naira-for-crude arrangement, which began in October 2024. However, Dangote Refinery's reported challenges in securing agreed crude volumes under this deal and plans to resume naira sales upon receiving appropriate crude allocations from the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. Now, joining us to explain what this temporary setback might mean and the impact on Nigeria's economy is Gbolahan Olojede. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
Nice to be here.
So much distraction happening in the political space only for us to get this update. What exactly does this mean? What are the implications of this?
Well, what the gentleman is simply saying is that, look, there is a foreign exchange risk associated with my sale now. It's slightly different from a situation under the former agreement in which government has said, I will provide crude for you in naira. Then if sale proceed is also in naira, under that condition, there is no foreign exchange risk on the table. But it appears as if that is no longer in place. Maybe government has now started to, sell in foreign exchange to him. So if they're selling in foreign exchange, but his own output is being sold in naira, there's an element of foreign exchange risk right there. So that is what the man is trying to fight. I believe it's just a fight, and that the two parties can resolve what is on the table.
I mean, Mr. Olojede, you believe it's just a fight, and we often hear this. I don't want to sound like a broken record. When two elephants fight, it's the people that suffer. And Nigerians are very mindful of every single naira in their bank accounts right now. Does this have implications for the pump price of PMS?
Yes, it does, because it makes the price more unpredictable. Because of the dollar element that is right there. But at the same time, you see, the price modulation that we have seen in recent times, in which Dangote Refinery is able to say, oh, my price will be this much now, my price will drop to this. We have seen that drop coming all the way from a little over 1,000 naira to 800 and something naira today. That drop, that modulation will be more difficult to do under this circumstance. I do not think that Mr. Dangote himself believes that people will start now paying dollars to buy refined products from him in Nigeria. Essentially, he will be saying that people should not go and source foreign exchange from the CBN and come and pay him foreign exchange to buy the refined product. It's just putting up a fight right there to say, look, we had an agreement, government. Can you please keep to your side of that agreement so that things can continue to go on? Otherwise, if you pull out the supply from Dangote out of the market because people cannot raise the dollar to buy it, it will lead to some crisis, supply crisis.
When you talk about supply crisis, so we're expecting that this might impact the price of petrol. Are we expecting that this might also affect the availability of product? And then does it also have any impact on our naira, on our currency value?
Of course, if it affects the supply, then prices will go up because you are pulling out the supply that's been there. I mean, I took a drive in Lagos from Maryland all the way to Murtala Mohammed Road, that's towards Oyingbo, on Sunday afternoon. I found out that it was only the MRS stations that had queues. And MRS is the outlet where Dangote has been distributing. So there is an increased consumer confidence in the quality of the Dangote fuel, clearly. Now, when you take that supply off the table, it will have a direct implications for consumer choices, and prices would be affected negatively. That is the reality out there. So and the issue of dollar,
yes,
we now put dollar pressure put the naira under pressure, and may also have an implication for the exchange rate. This is where we were coming from. We are now going back to that same point. We are saying if we do a naira for naira, the amount of demand for dollar on the CBN window to import refined product will be reduced. Are we now going back to that period where we begin to exert more pressure on the dollar? That is the question we must be asking ourselves. And I hope that the parties can resolve this and we can have what we used to have prior to now.
So what will resolving it look like? We've talked about the problems, we've talked about the implication on Nigeria's economy, the implication on pricing, and the weakening of the naira. So what will then be the way forward, and what role does the government have to play in this?
Simply go back to being able to provide crude in naira to the gentleman. That is what it is. You can agree on what the rate is going to be, and then sell him the crude in naira. That way, he has the predictability of his cost profile. Once he can predict his cost profile, he's able to also, predict or to fix his own selling price because he knows for certain what his cost price is. If he doesn't know for certain what his cost price is, you're putting him under a foreign exchange risk, and the consequences may be negative on the market.
Now, but some might argue that, marketers, that are also players in this industry, import this refined products and they use dollars. So it's just a fair level field for everyone because they've been talking about concerns of monopoly and all of that. What do you make of this?
Well, that is an argument that could be made. So if government is comfortable with it, if the reason they are doing this is that they want to level the ground, then he is also able to make whatever decision he wants to make. Is the government ready for that decision? That is the question right there. You see, the other part of this equation, which involves the government importation and other players importation, is not a particularly transparent space. We don't know exactly what are some of the things that are happening in that particular space. It's not transparent.
All right, let's talk about how we can achieve some sense of stability so we don't keep going around in circles. What future policies can be implemented to ensure that we don't have a recurrence of this sort of problems?
Well, it appears that the government was not ready for the crude supply when Dangote went commercial. We probably have pledged a significant part of our crude as at that time. Now, Dangote is here and is here for good, and it's a local producer. So I believe that we can now enter into an agreement that is more sustainable, crossing all the T's, dotting all the I's, forgetting about the past situation when we were not ready to have that agreement, so that there could be futures, there are commitments. The guy knows what the crude is going to, how the crude is going to be priced over the next 2 or 3 years or 1 year, as the case may be, and is able to plan. So let's have a new agreement that is sustainable, upon which Mr. Dangote can plan, and upon which government itself can plan its own cash flow, as it were. With that, we will have stability in the supply of crude and, by extension, the pricing of the output by Mr. Dangote, as it were.
Gbolahan Olojede, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts. We look forward to seeing an amicable resolution of this for the benefit of the Nigerian people and the Nigerian economy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Have a wonderful day.